Hello, my name is Valeria Marin. I'm part of the psychologist team at INSER, and I'm here with this beautiful testimony that is going to give us a lot of hope and teachings in this process of fertility. We're going to be with Erika and Mauricio and Mariana too, who are going to tell us their beautiful story. Welcome, how are you? Hello, Valeria. We're very happy to be here with you. This is wonderful. This is great for the INSER and for this Voices of Hope program, being able to listen to your story. Let's start. Tell us, how was that story, the treatment that you went through, how long it took, how many attempts before having Mariana in your lives? Well, in March 2013, we decided to go to a gynecologist to run some tests and to have a workup, because we've been trying to be parents, but we haven't been able to. We went to a gynecologist, not in INSER. They ran some tests, and we found out that we had a little inconvenience in this getting pregnant issue. The diagnosis was azoospermia.
It was on my end, azoospermia. I basically wasn't producing living sperm cells. And so from there we went back to the exam. The exam said azoospermia. And after some revision, we found that basically the problem was mine, and we went to this man to see if there was any possibility, and he basically sent us home. He said the only thing you can do here is find a donor and inseminate her, and he almost completely destroyed our dream. And
from there, we fell into a pit. Our dream to be parents was completely broken. In 2014, I went through my pap smear. I always do it privately, and by coincidence, I get there. And I saw this beautiful picture, this beautiful paint of so many photos of babies, and I, from that moment, I wanted to be a mom again, and I tried to imagine how to tell Mauricio, and then we went to INSER with Dr. Carlos Lopez. We talked. They ran again the tests, and among those tests, we found again that there was an issue with the sperm, but he opened so many windows.
What's most important about that first visit was that Dr. Carlos Lopez, on a piece of paper, he basically told us, this is the way it goes, this is the process, what we're going to do is this. And he started to interview me, and he found out that I had an inflammation in my epididymis, I believe is what it's called, and there was a remote possibility of obtaining sperm cells. And when he said that, well, especially me, we started
to dream again.
We started to dream again.
And for that, the same smile that I have today is the one that I was wearing that day. It was incredible. He talked, as Mauricio says, about the process, the budget. They talked about the first procedure, testicle biopsy. But we sat down, and they gave us a budget that at that moment was out of our reach. We left very happy for having this window, but we started to look that the budget for our capacity was not available. But well, time went by, and we kept thinking about everything and telling ourselves when is going to be the time. And this is our first special moment. Out of nowhere, money came, and a considerable amount.
It was nothing illegal? It was an inheritance?
Inheritance that Mauricio received in life.
It was a possibility. We said, there's the money. We weren't expecting it. Let's take on this task. And we spoke to Dr. Lopez, and they gave us a quote, and we said, okay, we're going to pay. We're going to pay for the 3 attempts or the 4 attempts that we paid. And we said, let's start. And we began in 2017. The first
we're talking, we came back 3 years after our first appointment, a while after the first visit. But we had it there. It was like a life project, and we came back. I find it very beautiful when you talk about this beginning and you share how with the first doctor all the hopes are broken and you fall into this hole, and how a different doctor says the contrary and opens a big door full of hope, and how in front of the same reality we have different paths, and paths that motivate us to continue to carry on with the process. So you started, and what happens? Before that, in 2014, we got the testicle biopsy, okay, and they found a sperm. So when we came back on 2017, we had this sperm frozen, and we started the process, the extraction of the eggs, my process, medication, and then we began the transfers. The first cycle, there were 3 transfers. The second one, a pregnancy, a positive. We were very happy. We got the news, the positive news, and we wanted to tell everyone. And actually we did it. And the next day, we got a meeting, a gathering with our family, and we told them we were pregnant. And of course, everyone was extremely happy. Mariana is the first granddaughter. Imagine the happiness. Unfortunately, when we went to the first sonogram, there was no baby. And that was the first heart blow. It was really hard to lose it. To find out the news that there was no baby, it almost destroyed us. We consider other possibilities. We carry on with the process. We came back to a second cycle. In the second cycle, there were 4 transfers. We had 2 pregnancies from those. The exact same story with the miscarriage. All of them were very hard on us. It's a very tough emotional process. But we kept the hope that we were going to make it. It was hard, but let's continue. We said to ourselves, let's continue. After the 3rd miscarriage, if we move so much, it's because we have Mariana on the floor and maybe she falls down. Of course, it's part of the testimony, her presence. After our sadness, after the 3rd attempt, when there was no baby, the doctor said, it's okay, let's continue. We have material left to continue. And we got an appointment for the next month. When we came back, it turned out that he told us there's an issue, and it's been 3 pregnancies and there's no progress. we need to know what happens, what's going on. So I got some more special tests, lab tests with strange names, so I don't remember, of course, and a surgery to know what was happening in my uterus, a hysteroscopy, if I'm not mistaken.
We also have to add to that part of the story that at the time we were both jobless. So when we saw that, the package of exams and surgeries was 6 million pesos and we didn't have money, we were unemployed, the inheritance was no longer there. So there we were again, thinking, what are we going to do?
That time we came out destroyed. It was the finish line.
I think in those pitfalls, or well, not small, they were very significant, but the support of Dr. Carlos Lopez was fundamental. We even cried there, and he would tell us, that's life. When you don't want it, you get triplets. But when people really want them, then this is what happens. So we have faith, we believe in God, and we continue forward. We still have work to do, and he always kept hope in us. So I think that was fundamental.
Between him and our spiritual topic, we're believers, we're Catholic, and we held tight to God. We would pray the rosary, we would pray to the Virgin. If we came here, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. With our spirit down, but something told us that something was going to happen. And then Valeria invited us to a talk.
We've even gone through psychological processes. We've spoken to Valeria already. I think Valeria heard us cry there.
It's not an easy story, your story, and I think that part of the purpose to share it is that many people that might be listening to us can feel identified, can feel related. It can be a short path, but it can also be a long journey with a lot of difficult situations. And your story has that color of so many adverse events, but also so many beautiful events, almost miraculous. And I know that's what follows. Those moments full of light in the middle of those very, very difficult moments. So I was telling you that we got an invitation from Valeria for a workshop, the first one in Inser Pereira. It was a very beautiful workshop, 3 or 4 couples to tell the story to the people who were undergoing the process. I decided to go in spite of being sad. I'm going to go and I'm going to listen to them. The workshop was very beautiful. They told a story just like us. And I also went to cheer me up and that I was going to be able to tell my story, and I'm doing it today. So we went. I was just going to listen. The process of the workshop, well, it carried on and everyone started to tell their own stories. So it was my turn. I was not going to talk. Well, in the end, I had to. So I told them about my process and that we were held up because we needed the money. We needed the money that we didn't have. And because we were unemployed, we didn't even have the possibility of a loan. Okay. Well, it went by like that. The workshop finished. And a person approached me that I've never seen before. I didn't know them. It was a person who was in the process with INSER, and he told me, "Give me your phone number. I'm gonna make you a gift." So because I was kind of ashamed, I gave him the number. What are you gonna give to me? Well, we talked with this woman about the story, but not beyond anything else. I came back, I told Mauricio what happened, and he told me, "That's very strange." It was December 2018. Around mid-December, I got this call from this woman, and he told me, "How are you doing? I'm going to Pereira with my husband, and I like to meet you and your husband." And I said, "Okay, perfect." And we met. It was a dinner invitation, and it turned out that those people gave us money. We were looking at each other. We couldn't believe it.
I thought that was going to be a trap. I wasn't believing that could be happening for someone to come out of nowhere, and it wasn't 20,000 pesos.
A considerable amount of money.
It was more than half of what we needed, and we obtained the other half. Our family helped us, and we started again.
Yeah, well, the point is that these people gave us these because they also went through a difficult process. They were very touched by our case, and they told us, "Just like you, we're on it, and you're gonna see the both of us are gonna have our children." And they gave us the money, and the process started again, and we carried on. That's very surprising. We didn't know if to receive it, but we took it as a gift from God. We prayed so much, "Lord, something must happen." So what better than this? That was one of the miracles around Mariana's arrival.
We continued. That was the beginning of 2019. We got exams and managed to get surgery, and we continued in the process. But it's worth mentioning that we were still unemployed. We were both unemployed, yes. And out of nowhere, I got a good job, and we started again to say, let's try, let's see how we can do this. And Erika didn't lose faith, and at that point I was thinking I didn't want to think about it anymore, because as we've said, you think about these things and you feel down, and I just thought, if God is going to give that to us, then He will make it happen somehow. It'll come.
No, I think that's really surprising what you tell us. Because in the middle of a moment like that, where everything seems to be going wrong, and someone just come up and make you a gift, and that gift can come in so many ways. And while talking about this testimony, we say that in the middle of the most difficult moments, there are unexpected beauties. And for us, we don't see it as something human. For us, it's like an angel sent by God.
And everything we've experienced with Mariana, I think our lives got complicated when we decided to have Mariana, because we had a good life. We would go on vacation, we would go to parties and have a good time, and we started with that, and it started to affect our home. We started to get depressed because of it. We would go to bed almost deflated, and we would go to bed feeling bad, and just the lack of employment And I'll tell you the miracle. I got a job out of nowhere, and we came to the fourth attempt, and we finished telling that story.
Well, from there we ran the test. I had the surgery, 2 polyps out. A new transfer was made in March 2019. And then again, a positive. But unfortunately, we got a miscarriage. At that time, personally, everything went to the floor. I cannot take this anymore. But I kept praying. I would say to God, no matter if this happens or not, I'm gonna be 80 and I'm still gonna be asking you for this. And I prayed and I prayed. The doctor said we will have to wait for 2 months for the next transfer, and I said, no, that's it. Emotionally, I cannot handle this anymore. There was one day that I woke up with this eagerness to call the doctor to go there. Even if Mauricio didn't agree, but I wanted to do another transfer. We talked about it. We kept the process. We kept doing the process, and we went to the next transfer. And in that attempt, Mariana came. We got a positive that I'm never gonna forget. Diana, the nurse at Inser Pereira, they ran the test. And normally, the result, the doctor calls you for the result around 5. And the test is run in the morning. And normally, usually, you get the call at 5 p.m. And Diana told me, Erika, let's do a fast test. And I said, okay. She did it, and it came back positive. And Diana was jumping. And I was saying to her, I don't want to get excited. I just need the sonogram. My heart was full of joy, but I didn't want to show it because I've been through that same situation for those positives again. So I wanted to keep that joy for me, and then let's see, and then corroborate, make sure. The thing was not the result, the positive result, but the positive becoming a pregnancy. Yes, Valeria, totally like that. So the 5th day, I had a bleeding. Okay. Again, I said no. Mauricio was at his job. When he came back, I told him that I was bleeding. I started crying. He hugged me. He didn't even know what to say after so much. You don't even know what to think anymore. The only thing I said was, please go get me some pads because I know the bleeding is going to come. I am bleeding. I was bleeding a lot. Even more than the previous occasions. I changed. I went to bed and then I fell asleep. I left a message for the doctor telling him that I was bleeding, and I fell asleep. And something happened here, the most special thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And I had a dream. For me, God talked to me. And he told me, everything is okay, and it's a girl. And I woke up with that in my mind. And it was the most beautiful thing that ever happened to me. The first thing that I did after waking up, and I looked at the pad, and it was clean. Not even a drop of blood. That's so beautiful. The doctor called me 1 or 2 hours after that, and he asked me, and I said, I was bleeding last night, but right now I'm clean. He told me, okay, please be very still, continue taking the medication, and we have to wait until the next sonogram. We waited for the sonogram, and it was very scary. Of course, we had the positive. I was very happy and anxious, but very expectant, in spite of the beautiful things God showed me. I wanted to believe, but something was telling me, just wait, just wait. So the day came for the sonogram. Mauricio couldn't be with me, and because he was so new at his job, he couldn't be with me. That was sad, but okay. And I remember Diana again. I will never forget Diana. I was laying down. I didn't even want to look at the screen. I looked at Diana, and I couldn't believe it. And the doctor said, it's 1 centimeter long. And I felt his heart, her heart, and it was crazy. It was such happiness listening to the heart. And look at her. She's already saying, Mom. This is really amazing. Your story is so potent because it's full with a lot of perseverance and resilience after so many positives that are not positive at some point, and keep going, and in the middle of this job situation, because this is a very interesting topic, because of course money matters in these treatments. We cannot miss it. And being able to continue until getting it, I would just ask, from this experience, to see Mariana with you, to have a daughter and share her with us, what message of hope could you leave to the people who are listening to us and that are going through these processes?
I think it's about not losing faith. If you really want a child and you have a problem, we realize that it's not just one person who goes through this, it's a lot of people, and if you really want it with all of your heart, don't lose faith. If there's a possibility, fight for that possibility. From the beginning, we've said that the economic or financial aspect of our lives was important to us, and we heard that at some point only a rich person would invest 15 million pesos on a child, and I said, I'm not rich, but I think we spent more than that. And that's how life is. We wanted it, and money comes and goes, but Mariana is here with us, and that's what's the most positive. It's about not losing faith.
That's very important. What was Mauricio was saying, that you think it's only you. The first time we went to the doctor and we got the bad news, you start to question yourself and ask, why my family? Why does it happen that some people don't want it and they get it? And you think that life is against you, and you don't realize that a lot of people are going through the same. And that's why when I went to this workshop, that same day, if I have a baby, I'm going to have to tell my story. Because besides this miracle that I already talked about, it helped me a lot emotionally, listening to other people telling the stories of the tough times, and that they kept going, and that they already have their babies. Vale, there's one more thing that I want to tell these people about the tough parts. you have to know how to get out of those difficult times. When I had the third positive, there's something that I will never forget and I will never forgive. Before going to the pregnancy test, I started bleeding like a week before. And I said, well, I'm not pregnant. I'm on my period. I told that to myself. And one day before the test, I decided not to take my medication. Because this is negative. I'm going to carry on with the process. And I'm going to need the medication. So I'm not going to use them. The next day, I went to the pregnancy test. As I said before, usually you get the call at 5, and I got the call at 11. Erika, you're pregnant, and your test is very high. And I was bleeding. I sat literally in a corner to cry, and I said, God, what did I do? I said, I'm bleeding, and I didn't use the medication. And he was very angry. And he said, come on, this is a joint effort. I cried a lot, and from that experience, the bleeding never stopped. And we had a miscarriage. But from that, I got a lot of experience, a life experience. And if we are doing this, we have to trust the people who are guiding us. In this case, the doctor. How to use the medication. Follow every instruction. And from that, I got this sentence. No one is dead until they're buried. Until the end. You have to be positive. You have to look forward and carry on. Well, I really appreciate that you shared that last experience. I find that very, very important. And it's a great lesson from your process. And it's to trust until the end. We can never anticipate ourselves in this process. As a description of your testimony, a yes and a pregnancy can come in the most unexpected moment. Maybe when we have lost hope and we're devastated. Is to trust and do the best we can until the end. And to close, I would like to ask Mauricio. You were saying that when you started this process, it's like depression came to our life. Now that you have Mariana, how has your life been transformed in 2 or 3 words?
Well, it's complete happiness. We live for her, and we go to bed at the time that Mariana decides. We wake up at the time she decides. Our home basically orbits around Mariana, and I think that's a blessing. And our children are a blessing. We spend our day in the role of being.
We're very tired, but very happy.
Just a bit, but there we go. A bit, but there we go.
Vale, to finish, I want to add 2 things. One, I'm very grateful to God and to the Virgin. Mariana's name is a promise to a virgin. If it was a girl, she was going to be Mariana. We're virgin believers. And second, I want to take this chance to thank my husband, who was very strong, supporting me when I was very sad, in the moments where I couldn't smile. And he was there, supporting me with a lot of love. And I know that all of this, he did it to see me happy. Because he was dreaming about a baby, but I was the one that didn't see myself not being a mother. He joined me in my dream, and he helped me to fight for this dream, to make it happen. That's very beautiful. Thank you, Mauricio, for being there. And both. And thank you, Mariana, for being here and share this testimony. That is going to be fresh water for the people who are listening to us. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Congratulations for this process in this motherhood and this parenthood experience. Thank you to Inser, to Dr. Carlos, Dianita, Álvaro, Valeria, to the lab woman, I don't remember her name, everyone. As we have said, it's very valuable. Not only that they were professional, but their accompaniment as people, it was very valuable. They were very helpful.
Yes, it's very valuable. I think we're going to introduce you as aunts and uncles the next time we meet. We felt very supported. We went through that first impression of it not being possible to having a beautiful child and total happiness.
Thank you.
That's the truth.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vale. Bye-bye.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Bye, Mariana.